G'day everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the YouTube channel, and today I'll be taking a little trip down memory lane. I'll be seeing why North Melbourne are actually the side that they are today and why they've been playing some pretty poor footy for the last 5-10 years. Now if you guys do enjoy this video, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos are coming out. Enough wasting your time, let's get straight into it. On the 25th of September 1999, the North Melbourne Kangaroos went up against the Carlton Blues in an AFL Grand Final. By the end of the first quarter, North Melbourne were winning, with the scores being 21-9, and by the end of the second quarter, the scores were 58-38, meaning that it was any team's game going into the second half. But North continued to rise in the third quarter, with the final scores being at three-quarter time 96-53, meaning that it was any team's game still going into the fourth quarter, but North Melbourne were likely to be the 1999 premiers. And that was definitely the case, because when the final siren blew, North Melbourne had a score of 124 and the Blues only had a score of 89. North Melbourne won that game by over 40 points, and Shannon Grant was the Norm Smith medalist for that year. By the end of the next year, North Melbourne had finished 4th on the ladder after winning 14 out of 22 of their games that season. But unfortunately, they didn't crack the top 8 until 2 years later, where they finished 7th in 2002 after winning 12 out of 22 of their games. And going into the 2003 season, this was going to be North Melbourne's first time since 1987 that they didn't have one of their best players, Wayne Carey. And for that year and the next, they finished 10th on the ladder until 2005 came along and they finished 5th. But they were sort of just up and down for the next couple of years, since in 2006 they finished 14th, then in 2007 they went up to 4th, and then in 2008 they dropped down a few places and finished 7th on the ladder by the end of the year. In 2008, North Melbourne picked up a player who they thought was going to be a really big impact on their club, being Jack Zeeble. But that definitely wasn't the case, because the very next year, in 2009, North Melbourne finished the season at 13th on the ladder. And then in 2010, North Melbourne just missed out on the top 8 and from making finals after finishing 9th on the ladder by the end of the season. In 2011, North Melbourne were given another side to compete against after the AFL introduced a new club, being the Gold Coast Suns. But the Gold Coast Suns didn't really make too much of an impact on North Melbourne after they finished in the exact same spot as they did the previous year, being 9th place. North was barely able to scrape their way into the top 8 in 2012, but lost to West Coast by 96 points in an elimination final. North didn't make finals again until 2 years later in 2014. Week 1 of the finals, North was able to beat Essendon by 12 points in an elimination final and went on to verse Geelong in the semi-finals the week after. North managed to pull off a 6-point win against the Cats, with the final scores being 92-98, and went on to verse Sydney the very next week in the preliminary final. But unfortunately, North Melbourne lost that game by 71 points and Sydney went on to the grand final. But in 2015, North weren't ready to give up and made their way back into finals, and not only that, made their way back to the preliminary final where they faced off against the West Coast Eagles. But North missed out on the granny yet again after losing to the Eagles by 25 points. North Melbourne were able to make finals the very next year in 2016, but lost to the Adelaide Crows by 62 points in the very first week of finals. And a fun fact, 2016 was actually the final year that North Melbourne were able to make finals. In 2017, North Melbourne dropped down to 15th on the ladder, and that was the same year that they drafted one of their best players, being Jai Simpkin. In 2018, Brad Scott was able to find some errors that North Melbourne were having in their game and were able to make them rise up to 9th on the ladder. In 2019, North Melbourne had to say goodbye to the person that had been coaching them since 2010, being Brad Scott, and begun being coached by Reece Shaw. In 2020, North Melbourne dropped down to 17th on the ladder, which is only one ladder position away from being the Wooden Spooners. But the very next year, North Melbourne had gotten the Wooden Spoon for the first time since 1972, and received the Wooden Spoon yet again the next year in 2022. In 2023, North Melbourne were given a little bit more hope after receiving the #1 draft pick, being Harry Sheezel. Sorry to interrupt the video, just a quick disclaimer though, I meant to say Harry Sheezel was the 2023 Rising Star, not the #1 draft pick. Anyway, back to the video. Getting a new coach by the name of Alistair Clarkson. But that definitely did not change the way North Melbourne play after they finished 17th on the ladder in that same year. But currently in 2024, this club is still going pretty poorly, and in round 10, they are still yet to win a game, and some are speculating that they will go 0-24 this year. But I guess the real question is, where did North Melbourne go wrong? And that's just about it for this week's video. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos are coming out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.